base model is that we take 5% of ROAS. He has been in some of Norway's biggest like newspapers and stuff, so he gets a lot of attention like just organically. It's still me and Siebert doing the service delivery, and then we're at 60K a month.
Before we begin the podcast, I have a super simple ask for you. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would help us reach more business owners every single day. Thank you. Let's begin. So, Alex, you're a co-owner of Curve, the agency where, quote, no curve, no pay. So, start by walking me through your agency and the role you play in it.
The agency is a marketing agency, pretty simply. We do paid marketing for businesses, mostly in Norway, but we have a couple of clients in the US as well. And in terms of my agency, I am one of two co-founders. So I have a business partner who owns half the agency with me. And in terms of like the day-to-day roles, I am more on the Google Ads side, doing more like the technical. I'm like the numbers guy. I love numbers. I love statistics. I love looking at data, while my business partner is more like him, like visionary, like big ideas. I'm like the guy, let's chill, let's make a plan. So I guess that's our split right now. We're still working out like the exact things because we're still both doing everything, which is not really ideal, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Yeah, because you guys are specific. You guys are pretty much just paid ads, correct?
Yes, we do a little like page optimization if we see that there are like huge issues on the website that we could optimize to increase the CRO, but other than that, paid ads, yeah.
Okay, how does that work? Because you only get paid if you get success. So I'm assuming they pay for their ad spend, but then how do you take commission? Do you do percentage? How does that work?
Yeah, so that's at least the model that we advertise. Of course, it's different for each client. Some clients want a retainer because they need some kind of like fixed expenses for forecasting and stuff. But yeah, the client pays for ad spend. And then the base model is that we take 5% of ROAS over ad spend. So if they spend, let's say 20K, get back 80K, then we take 5% of that difference, which will be then 60K. So 5% of 60K, which is whatever that is, 3K, that is our performance for that month.
Are you a business owner looking to simplify your marketing, make your marketing consistent? It makes sense. Marketing can be a hassle, a headache. That's why I'm here and have a gift for you to make your marketing simple. It's a simple sheet with 15 questions to find out who you need to target, who you are in relation to your clients, and really iron out what your services do for your clients. It's a simple way to create unity with your marketing and understand where you want to go. If you're ready to simplify your marketing, go to services.tuckercmdigital.com/#gift or check out the link in my bio. That's a really simple model because you get paid based on performance. I like that. How much are you running month to month? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, right now we are about 60K.
Okay.
USD.
That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good.
That works.
How old are you again? Are you 20, right?
No, I'm 19.
You're 19. Fuck. So that's insane. I'm just kind of curious, how does the back end work? So you do Google Ads and it's Sivert? How do I pronounce that?
Yeah, that's right.
Sivert. So he does like the Facebook ads, kind of the more visual ads, and you do the Google ads, correct?
Yeah, I would say I have a couple of Facebook ads accounts, but like Google Ads is my strength there.
Okay. How do you work with him on that? Because you kind of, when you're running ads, you have to have a uniform over the top. How do you do that if you're running both Google ads and Facebook ads?
So we're traveling together now, which makes it pretty simple. Like we're always talking, always like exchanging ideas. So we don't have like a set meeting where we like sit down once a week and discuss like the strategy for this client. So I don't think our way of doing things is very applicable to other people. But yeah, we're just constantly in contact, constantly talking about marketing, and the strategy builds itself out basically by having this super close contact with him. But I would recommend that if you have a business partner and you don't live with him basically 24/7, that you have like weekly meetings where you sit down and do like the strategy for each client, what you're going to be doing this week, what you're going to be doing like the next month, not the way we're doing it.
Did you used to do it that way? So I'm assuming you didn't live together when you started it.
Yeah, that's correct. So I actually didn't meet him for about a year after we started the agency, like 9 months. So we were doing like everything online. I've never met the guy before. And then we had weekly meetings where we sat down, went through all of the clients, went through the results, and just made like strategies for how we're going to run the ads in the coming
How
weeks.
did you find him then to start?
On LinkedIn. LinkedIn.
Of course it's LinkedIn. Where else are you going to find people?
Of course.
No, so you started a business with this guy that you didn't know.
That's correct.
Okay. I've heard horror stories. So I'm curious what got you, what made you be like, hey, let's run it.
It's not like I met the guy and then we immediately started the business. We had our own agencies first. So we were like accountability partners for, I would say like a year maybe. So I knew that the guy was trustworthy. I like already known the guy for a year, not physically, but talked to him and stuff. So I had trust in him. And what's the worst that could happen? Like, I always feel like having a business partner is a positive thing. So the positives outweighed the potential negatives, basically, for me at least.
Okay, that makes sense. So give me clarity. Walk me through, like, you had an agency before, you met Sivert, you started an agency. So like start at the beginning, you started your first agency, and walk me through to where you are now.
Yeah, so the journey has been pretty long, even though I'm 19. It usually, like, I tell people that it starts at about 12 years old when my dad bought me my first laptop. I had like two passions. That was graphic design and marketing. So the first things I downloaded on this laptop were Photoshop and Minecraft. And I began making graphic design for Minecraft servers, selling to Minecraft servers. Then I started my own Minecraft server. So it was like very like continual development from 12 years old and on. And I began doing some marketing, started freelancing, Fiverr, Upwork, all of this good stuff. And then I found Imangazi, this whole SMMA model, thought it sounded cool. Like you don't really need much money to get it started, like a lot of potential. Started my own agency, which is actually a graphic design agency. So I had this like subscription-based graphic design agency where businesses paid me a fixed amount a month, and then they could order like unlimited graphic design from one of my designers. That didn't really work out because graphic design is a lot harder to sell than marketing, because graphic design is like, it's good to have, but it's not a necessity like marketing. So my sales skills didn't really stack up to the challenge. And then I met Seward. We were just accountability partners with our own agencies. And then in August of 2023, we decided to like merge our agencies basically and start Curve together.
What was he doing then? Was he
had
doing
a marketing agency, but he was focusing solely on like private clinics in Norway.
Okay. Because you guys do e-com now as well, correct?
Yeah, like B2C, both e-com and service-based businesses, but mostly e-com, yeah.
Okay. How does that, so you do the e-com, you do the ads, and you run overhead, you get paid based on how many people you bring in. What is the biggest problem you're struggling with right now in terms of either attaining clients or making sure that you're getting those results?
I think we've scaled very fast and we're getting close to our limits in terms of like man hours within the agency. So now we're beginning to hire pretty like rapidly, because it's still me and Siebert doing the service delivery, and then we're at 60K a month. So you can imagine that gets quite a bit of work. So we don't really have much time to do anything else. So now we're beginning to hire media buyers, and that's the bottleneck now, which is a good problem to have too many clients and having to hire more people.
I know I was talking to Nigel about that in terms of hiring, because the biggest thing, I've had to fire a couple people, which really sucks. And so what would you, like, what are you doing to mitigate that?
We are using a like hiring agency, again, recommended to us by Nigel. He has given us a lot of good referrals, so we trust his taste in other like business people. So the way we like to do it is to get professionals to do it for us, then just document the journey and then do it ourselves afterwards. So we have this hiring agency, I guess they're called, we're gonna do this entire process. We're just gonna take notes during the process and then begin doing it on our own later on. So hopefully by people being professional who actually are doing this, we'll get a lot better results than we would ourselves. But again, this is like completely new to us, so we don't know how this is gonna work out.
Have you hired anyone yet?
We have a couple of people, yeah. So we have a full-time assistant. We have a creative director who does like UGC briefs, creative strategy, stuff like that. And plus also a couple, just like people on the side making like graphics for the ads, editing some videos, just like freelancing slash contracting when
Okay.
we need it.
Yeah. So I ran into issues with copywriters. So just a little bit of background. I do SEO. I also have an agency, and mine's specifically SEO based. So we do SEO, and then we do Google Ads as needed. So the big problem there is copywriting. Like, you need a really good copywriter if you're going to be doing search engine optimization. And the problem is finding a quality one. So I'm curious to see if as you're scaling, if you run into that quality issue of employees, or if this agency very much mitigates that.
Yeah, we'll see, because like our philosophy right now is that we're not going to scale unless we have A players on the team. So we're not going to hire a ton of people to scale if they're not the people we're looking for. So this could limit our growth, but I think that's a lot more of a long-term game than just hiring BC players just to grow and get that quick cash in the bank. So I think we'll get it sorted out, but yeah, maybe it'll take longer to scale the agency that way.
It's definitely more rock solid, because if you're hiring B, C players, it's essentially just, I guess, building a building out of toothpicks versus building a building out of concretes. Building a building out of concrete. Ooh. Yeah, that's definitely something like I definitely need to sit down and like think about. I haven't really hired anyone since, and just I've been keeping my hands on everything, and it's a really hard thing hiring. I talked to Nigel about that on the podcast for like 30 minutes. Yeah, it's hiring's hard. Where are
Definitely,
you?
yeah. Expensive as well.
Yeah, yeah, that hurts. Where? So you're hiring as well. What are you doing in terms of sales funnel? How are you getting clients?
Right. Now, like the past couple of months we've been pretty lazy with that because we've been focusing on service delivery and stuff like that, and we're getting a lot through referrals and through personal brands. So me and Sivert have built up pretty like significant LinkedIn profiles, especially Sivert. He has been in some of Norway's biggest like newspapers and stuff, so he gets a lot of attention like just organically. So those have been the clients that we've been signing in the last couple of months, but it's not very sustainable to only rely on people coming to you. You have to kind of reach out to people. So this week I'm building up the outreach again and trying to reach out to people directly. And I do that through LinkedIn and through cold email with cold looms, which have been my go-to strategy so far.
Do you hand message people? Like, do you record looms like, hey, I saw this, I think we can do this? Or do you do it kind of generic? Because I've seen AI cold email. So I'm just curious what you're
Yeah.
doing in terms of that.
So the thing with Norway is that Norway is a very small market and we're still targeting Norway. So we can't really afford to waste leads. There are maybe like 4,000 e-com stores in Norway who match our ACP. And I could send like 4,000 emails in a day, So we are very careful with the leads not to waste them. So I send on email, I send cold looms where I record personally a loom video going through the ad library explaining this could be changed, this could be better, this is great, but if you guys change this, then you can expect these kinds of results. That's my approach on email. And on LinkedIn, it's a lot simpler because we already have a personal brand. People know who we are. So there, I'm just sending like a super simple message like, hey, love the growth of company. And then just like a question like, want to have a coffee chat or something like that. And people usually say yes to that super simple request. So different approaches for different platforms.
I suppose. Yeah. I'm curious. You're probably basically the only one who specifically targets ecom in Norway. So I bet your competition is really low, and so you get really, really good response rates with that. How big is
I've
Norway?
never done outreach in other countries. So I don't really know what to compare to. Norway has 5.5 million people, I think, 5.5 or 6 million.
Okay.
So it's like an okay city in the US, basically, entire
Yeah,
country.
that's like the size of my state in the U.S.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm from Wisconsin. Yeah, that's like Wisconsin size. So you said you do coffee chat a lot. Does that mean you can go most places in Norway if someone wants to meet up to learn about their business, or would you do it Google Meet, Zoom? Business owners, do you wish marketing wasn't so time consuming, wasn't such a hassle? Well, that's where Tucker CM Digital comes in. We take the stress and time out of marketing. We generate clients through the funnel we've used on over 110 clients. Our goal is to keep marketing simple. If you want to take your time back and stop the chaos of marketing from flooding your business, check out services.tuckercmdigital.com or check the link in my bio.
Yeah, it's like what we call a digital coffee chat. So people jump on, just on Google Meet.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify because I've been doing a lot of Google Meets. It's really been my bread and butter.
Same.
So how, you said 12 is kind of when it all started and spiraled into an agency. You got into Iman Gadzi.
Yeah.
Your first agency, really dive into that for me. Like, what did it look on the back end? What did it look like on the front end?
Yeah, it looked like a mess, short and simple. Because of my first agency, like my first real business, my idea with it was to be a bit different because everyone was doing like marketing, paid advertising. I thought, let me try something new. Like graphic design is my thing, so I tried this graphic design subscription model. There is one guy doing it pretty successfully in the US, so I thought if he's doing it, then I could probably do it. And I didn't really have a plan for it. I got my first client in a pretty interesting way. Before I started the agency, I was doing like research online, like how to start a business. I was like writing a business plan, doing market research. I was like sending out emails to people asking if this is something they actually need in the market, like doing my own type of like mini market research basically. And I said, if you guys answer this form, you will get a 50% off the first month once we actually launch the agency. So I got like maybe like 12 people to respond to a couple thousand emails, filling out this form, telling about their interest. And then one of these people ended up signing with me when I actually launched the agency, which was my pricing at that point was $700 a month. They got a 50%, so they paid me $350 for the first month. I was doing the actual graphic design. They didn't like continue the subscription because they didn't like the service that I was providing, but that's really part of the journey. But yeah, so I was just trying everything. I was trying cold email. I was going around physically in Norway, in Oslo, with like laminated pieces of paper. So I put on a suit, went to Oslo with laminated pieces of paper, was going from business to business, talking to the business owner if they were there, giving them this like laminated piece of paper so that they would keep it, maybe reach out to me. So I like tried absolutely everything, like basically door-to-door knocking, and ended up scaling that thing to like 1.5K max, I think, a month before I started the advertising agency.
Okay, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. You said, so did you ever subcontract or no?
Yeah, I had one guy in the UAE who did some of the graphic design for me, worked with clients.
Okay. You door-to-door knocked, but did you ever do networking groups? Have you ever tried those?
No, not really.
Okay, are there really any in Norway or no?
Not that I've heard of. I've tried to look them up. Maybe there are like private ones where people just get together who know each other, but not not officially on the web from what I've seen.
Interesting. In the US, so specifically where I'm at, I'm in Stevens Point, which is dead center Wisconsin. I can name 3 right off the top of my head that I go to, and there's at least 4 more out there. So networking groups are really common. That's interesting that there aren't really any. How you just door-to-door knock? Do you do that with the new business?
No, that was like a, I guess, failed experiment because I didn't really get much response. Plus, I was also like a 16-year-old kid, so nobody really took me seriously. But I was wearing a suit and I had laminated pieces of paper, so I guess they kind of liked my approach. But I don't think that's the most efficient way of doing things. And people don't really, especially in Norway, people are very like closed and cold. So like, I don't think they really enjoy when you come and talk to them physically. They want to have like time to think about it and like just come to the decision on their own and not like have to make any decisions when you're there staring them in the eyes. So I don't think it's the best approach for Norway. And it's also like a lot simpler to sign clients by sending emails or LinkedIn messages or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I could see it. Cold calling for me works really well. Does that work good for you at all?
I tried cold calling for one day, booked one meeting, and then never went back to it. And just because it was so uncomfortable, I feel like, and I was getting meetings in other ways, so I just rationalized that I didn't really have to do it. But it's definitely an untapped market for us. We hired a cold caller recently who basically failed. So like that's another one of our hires. He didn't really manage to book any calls, and we ended the partnership with him. So we still have a lot to go for in the cold calling department.
Cold calling is super weird because you either get people who hate you or you get people who tolerate you. There's really no in between. Whereas like email, I feel like you can do it on your own time. And so typically when you respond, you're probably in a better mood.
Mm,
So
that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
it's very uncomfortable. So you don't automate emails. You do all emails by yourself. How do you scale that? How are you planning on scaling that?
So I automate the actual sending. I have set up the system in Lemlist where I upload the videos to like a sheet, and then it automatically pulls them out of the sheet and like adds this personalized video to each email. So the actual sending and follow-ups are automated, but the Loom recording is not. And the way to scale it is just to hire people, because you don't really need an expert to sit there and record the looms. So you could hire a lot of people to record a lot of looms, but again, you run into problems with like the market size in Norway, but that's a different issue. So just hiring people to do the actual looms, and then the sending is automated through Lemlist.
Are you planning to go out of Norway soon?
We're thinking about it. We were actually like on the edge and like on the brink of going to Norway, now to Sweden, but we decided against that because we feel like it's a shiny object right now. We still have a lot of market to capture in Norway, and we're building a pretty good reputation in Norway, so we don't really see the point in going to Sweden. It just like complicates the agency without giving any positive effects, for now at least.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know. Do Norway and Sweden, do you guys speak two different languages? Because I know English is pretty common, but do you have like I know Swedish, but what's the Norway has its own language,
We have
right?
Norwegian. Yeah,
Okay.
Norway has Norwegian, so we understand each other. I can talk to a Swedish person, and they can talk Swedish, and I can understand them. But of course, if we're going to be running ads in Sweden, then they have to be in Swedish, and I don't speak Swedish, so we would have to get like translators or something like that to get that sorted out.
I suppose you could run into issues there as well, right? Because there are certain things in a language that you have to be very conscious of in marketing. And if you're just throwing it into Google Translate, something's probably going to get messed up at some point.
Yeah, like translate we're not going to use. So we are hiring people abroad for this media buyer position, and most of our clients, as I said, are Norwegian. So we're going to be using a translator there, and then we have to like hire an actual Norwegian who's going to be doing the translation to get the nuances and the specifics of the Norwegian in the ad copy correct. So that's part of the issue. Yeah.
Oh, I suppose. Do you run ads in English a lot or no?
Yeah, we have 3 clients in the US.
Okay. That could run into a lot of bottlenecks with language barriers. I'm curious, how's that gonna? So you're planning on hiring a translator to kind of intermediate between, but how are you gonna do it if, say, you want to hire someone outside of Norway to run Norwegian ads?
Yeah, that's what we're doing now with the new media buyer. And as I said, it's going to be more complicated because we need more people on the team to actually set up the ads, because the media buyer is going to be doing the media buying and the creative, while a Norwegian has to make the ad copy and translate the creative. So it's going to be a bit of a headache, but that's the path we've decided to take. And I still feel that it's better to do it this way than to go to the US, which is super saturated. So it's just, yeah, it complicates the operations a little bit, but we'll have to deal with it and we'll get through it. Like, it's not the biggest issue that we faced.
Yeah, absolutely. You could almost hire someone in Norway and teach them the ads, but the problem is, again, then you have to teach them first.
Exactly. Yeah. So our like philosophy is that we want to hire people who tell us what to do and not the other way around. So we want an expert in Facebook ads who comes in and does his own thing, doesn't really need to be taught how to do it, because we don't have time and we don't really want, like, as I said, BC players. We want someone who has experience, who knows what he's doing, comes in, does his thing, and tells us, as I said, what to do and not the other way around.
That's smart because it keeps it simple.
Exactly. And we don't need more complexity at this point, as you can probably imagine with all of these hires.
Yeah, I'm not anywhere near you guys, and I get a headache just listening to you.
I wouldn't how does it change it for anything, though. It's an amazing journey. So I'm not complaining. It's just like things you have to go through.
Well, that's the conversation of there are good headaches and there are bad headaches, right? Like that's definitely a good headache.
Yeah.
So how's the traveling going? You're in Indonesia now, and you're coming to the US at some point. So how's that all going?
Yeah, so I've been locked in for like a year, I'd say, just in South America. I was in Paraguay, in Brazil, and in Argentina. So I guess you could call that traveling, but I was really just working all that time. And now I've finally began, I guess, like reaping the rewards from all of this effort and seeing the world while also working. So I was in Norway for a couple of days because I haven't been in Norway for like close to 2 years. So I saw some friends, saw some family. Then I was in Dubai now for 2 weeks. Now I'm in Bali for about a month. And then we're just going to hop around Asia for a while, like big cities, Hong Kong, Tokyo, stuff like that. So it's difficult. It's like more difficult, I guess, than I would have expected in terms of work, because there's so much fun stuff you want to see, like waterfalls and like cool adventures and stuff that you want to go on because you're already here. But we kind of came here to work, so you have to balance it out and get both things done. But I think so far I've been managing it pretty well. So it's fun.
Yeah, I saw a LinkedIn post about Bali and how it's just kind of the place where people go where they're like, I work, and then they do 2 hours a day and just do whatever.
That's not really my style, no.
I kind of gathered that. What does your schedule look like right now?
Yeah, so right now, since I came to Bali, it's been pretty messed up because I like to wake up at 5 a.m. and work just like right away from like 5:20 until sometime in the afternoon. Then I'll maybe go to a cafe and work there. So right now it's been a lot of late evenings, going to restaurants, meeting people, stuff like that. But I would say like standard is wake up at 7, work until maybe 10, go to a cafe, work there for a couple hours, then go see something like a waterfall, monkey forest, something that Bali has to offer, and then just work the rest of the day after that. So just like working and then slotting in some fun activities here and there to spice it up.
Fun. What does work look like for you? You're just sitting on your laptop, sending cold emails, running ads. You're pretty much async for everything, correct?
Yeah, so I would have wished that I had like a better setup, but it's just the laptop, a keyboard, and the mouse, which is not ideal since the screen is pretty small. But what can you do? So yeah, just sit at the laptop. Outreach I'm beginning to do now, so that hasn't really been part of the routine for the last month or two, but mostly it's service delivery, being in the ad accounts, doing changes, launching ads, because our philosophy, I don't know how many times I've said our philosophy, but our philosophy is that service delivery is everything. If we deliver amazing results, clients are going to stay for longer, we're going to get referrals. So that's been like the biggest focus of ours in the last, I would say, like half year. Not really the selling part, and it's worked out well. So I think we're on the right track there.
What's your churn look like then?
We don't really have a lot of churn. Mostly the churn is us kicking clients out because we don't want to work with them anymore. So it's difficult to like put an exact number on the churn because it's either mutual or usually comes from our side, but very low. I don't have an exact percentage of how many of our clients churn on their own.
Okay. So how many clients are you servicing in total right now then?
We have 12 clients right now.
Dude, I wish.
You have more?
Dude, I started with low ticket, and so I just accumulated client after client, and I think we're at 117.
Damn.
Yeah, here's the problem. That's a headache and a half because you're doing different things for different people. And so I just implemented this, courtesy of Darren. I know I CC'd you too. He basically said, listen, just charge more and do more per client. So I rolled out effectively what you guys are doing, but the SEO variation. And it's doing great. So the thing is, keeping things simple is almost better every time, 100% better every single time. Like, if you can run ads, you can run SEO, you can do email marketing, you can do all of these things. But if you're not good at any of them, or you're like C at all of them, you're not going to get the top 10 reward. That's why it's so good when you guys are just doing ads, because you can get so good at ads and basically get results for every client.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've been trying to keep the amount of clients low. So we had 12 clients when we were at like 6K a month, and we have 12 clients at 60K a month. So our goal is to every month increase the retainer for each client, and also every time we sign a new client, for that client to be more and more expensive and pay us more and more. And that has worked out pretty well. So we don't have any goals of going to 50 clients. We want to stay at 10 clients, but with time for each of those clients to be worth like 50K a month and not 5K a month is now.
Yeah. So your average ticket price is 5K then?
Yeah, approximately, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah. I'm definitely behind you guys. Mine is 2K with the new model. But that's really smart.
Yeah, but I'm guessing like SEO is also a bit more, because we have different ad platforms. So some clients are doing Facebook, some are doing Insta. So I guess SEO is a bit more repeatable. I would guess, you correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm not really into SEO. Then because still Google and Facebook are like completely different platforms. So it's still kind of like two different services that we have to provide for the clients. So I guess 2K a month is not as bad.
Yes and no. So I'll give you kind of the time. So how it works is I come from a back-end development. So we do really high-end website development, and SEO is just part of that, because search engine optimization, half of it's on the website and half of it's off the website. So we do the search engine optimization. That's how we get basically our leads. And then we run Google ads as needed. We have a guy who's good at that. But SEO is typically a higher leverage thing. The issue is it takes so long. Like SEO, for example, you can't show results in the first month. Like there's basically no way. First 3 months, yes, you can get results. So I would say, yes, it's less time intensive, but it's harder to retain clients. So my churn is going to be higher.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because I'm going to take a guess and say you guys probably get results almost right away for every client. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd say so within like the first 3 weeks of signing. And that's like including all like audits and like initial work that we're doing, like preliminary work, like market research, persona mapping, all of that stuff.
Once you start an ad, how long does it take you to typically get results, would you say?
When we start the ad, the results are in within like 2 to 3 days, because when you've started the ad, already like 90% of the work is done. Everything is like that's like the tip of the iceberg when you've already like done everything. There's still like a lot of preliminary work, as I said, that we do before we launch the ads to make the ads as good as possible. Understanding the market, understanding the product, understanding the competitors, the customer, all that stuff.
Yes, I love that. I was curious what your thoughts on this are. So I've been teaching a couple things for some of my clients. I'm like, hey, let's throw $200 in ads. We're not going to get a big response out of this. We're not going to make a ton of money. And the reason why is because if we're on the fence of, say, 2 pain points, we can A/B test them like that. In a week, we know exactly which one's better. Have you ever done that with clients or no?
But yeah, we're getting more into that now, and we don't really do pain points. We do more sophistication level. So I'm not sure if you're like how familiar you're with like the 5 levels of sophistication or whatever it's called. But we believe that that's like the biggest leverage in ads. If you hit the right sophistication level, if you understand exactly what mindset the ICP is in, then everything else becomes a breeze, and you can like hit pain points a lot easier. That's like the first thing we test usually, to understand if the person even knows that they have a problem. If they know that they have a problem, do they know that the solution exists? Like, do they know which type of solutions are out there? Just like understand exactly what the person knows about the market, basically, before you begin testing other stuff.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I know What framework do you guys use? What are you using in terms of ads? Because you said 5 layers. I'm not familiar with that one.
I think it's made by Schwartz, 5 levels of sophistication.
Mm-hmm.
So that one we just found in the book, which we found like very applicable and easy to replicate. But in terms of like the actual ads, we have like our own systems that we use to set up the ads. So we don't really use any like common frameworks that are out there. So that's like, I guess, the only common framework that we have in our stack.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, because I've been really heavying on the StoryBrand. Do you know what StoryBrand framework is?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I've been really heavy on that because on websites you can tell a story really, really well, and you can really build a good brand presence. And so I've been really levying that in with customers. How do you?
That's cool. Yeah.
What do your ads look like? Walk me through that. So you do the audit sort of way. And then within 3 weeks, you have the ads giving a return. Walk me through those first 3 weeks.
Yeah, so this new thing that we've been implementing in the last like month is giving instant wins. So now before we do the actual preliminary work, we go into the account and just like fix some low-hanging fruit. So if they have some, like in Google Ads, you can have like the automated text assets in PMax, or have some like only broad keywords hit like a lot of non-relevant keywords. So just go into the account, fix some super low-hanging fruits to get some instant results. And after that, we begin doing the actual audits. So we have these 3 things like competitor research, product research, and like persona research, mapping out the dream outcome, stuff like that. The client is super involved in this entire process. They gave their feedback because, of course, they know their business better than we do. But sometimes we uncover interesting things that they've never even thought about. So it's important to have this like balance here to understand that they're the expert, but again, sometimes they're like super locked into a way of thinking, and you have to break those patterns sometimes. And for the ads, it's very different for each client. We've been leveraging UGC a lot in the last couple of months, and we've hired this creative director to begin making UGC. And for those who don't know, UGC stands for user-generated content, which is just like videos that look organic. Someone like filming themselves with a phone, like, hey, I just bought this t-shirt, trying it on, like, and that is run as an ad. So we've seen super great results with those more organic type of ads lately, and we've been trying to replicate that in the statics as well, to make it look just like a Facebook post or Instagram post or whatever it is, the ad where we're running the ad basically.
That's interesting because it's kind of on the same sect of podcasts are coming back because they seem more authentic. People are in a weird way. It seems like people are getting fed up with this super hyper processed content. It's more of the like,
yeah, I think so.
Just some guy in a dorm room or whatever.
Yeah, like I personally have like an ad block built into my head basically. So when I think about it, when I'm scrolling on Instagram, like automatically jump over the ads without even thinking about it, because I somehow register this an ad and just jump over it. And I think a lot of people have that, especially on Google. Like when I search for something, I always jump over the ads because I know that the ads are not really the most relevant option usually. Mm-hmm. So I think by making them look a lot more organic, you will capture a much bigger market than you would just by having like a super flashy, super edited ad.
It's the same thing with email marketing. And I'm going to bring this. So I've been playing around with my newsletter and I get 100 times more opens if it looks like it's from a friend. If I'm like, hey, did you see X? Did you see this? Or something along those lines versus like get 10% off, right? Like it's very much going back to this like basic social, like be friendly kind of thing.
Definitely.
How many ads are you currently running? I'm just curious.
Amount of ads, I wouldn't even be able to tell you because it's so different for each client, but a couple hundred maybe at this point in time.
How often do you change them?
When needed. So we do weekly rounds of optimizations where we go into the account, do changes, and if we see that some ads are beginning to fatigue or there are new market trends that we could capture and use basically to our advantage, then we launch new ads. But we don't have this like system where we launch like new ads every week or every other week, because it's a very dynamic system, and some ads can run for months and not burn out, while other ones can run for like 3 days and they're already done for. So there are no real frameworks for that.
Ads are complicated. I don't like touching those. You can keep
Yeah,
those.
it's a lot of work and like understanding the algorithms, especially when you have like Facebook trying to hide everything. So Facebook is like officially telling you that it works this way, then you try it out and it's not actually working this way. So even like reading Facebook's official reports on how the algorithm should work doesn't really give you like a good insight into how it actually works. So you have to like it's like a lot of stumbling in the dark and trying to understand exactly what the algorithm is doing to feed it the best ads possible, basically.
Yeah. Do you do TikTok ads? I'm
Yeah.
assuming so. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use the same ads across most of the platforms? Do you test them all at the same time, and then maybe they work on this platform, they don't work on this platform? Like, what's that like?
Yeah, I'd say that's kind of the approach, like test everything and see what works. Of course, the initial ads that we run through Snapchat and TikTok are a lot different because they have to be, or like, they don't have to be videos, but like if you run statics on Snapchat, you're probably not going to see a lot of good results. So the initial like idea, I guess, when beginning to run ads is different for the platforms, but we usually test them on all and see if they work. And sometimes like a Snapchat specific ad works well on Facebook, but usually not.
Yeah, I was yelling at I won't say yelling at. I was poking a local HVAC company because I saw their ad, and I know one of the higher ups there. So it was like, hey, your marketer's running a static ad on Reels and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey, maybe we should make this not static. Maybe we should just do a video, because I almost guarantee you they would at least double their ROI if they just ran a video.
If they specifically run statics on Reels, then yeah, it's a pretty stupid idea. But if they're using like the Advantage Plus placement by Facebook, then it could be a good idea because basically Facebook has a lot of automations and you can automate the placement. So you just give it an ad and then Facebook itself decides where it want to put it, or not like Facebook Meta, I guess is the more correct word.
Mm-hmm.
So it decides itself if it wants to put it in the Facebook feed, in the Instagram Reels, in like Messenger, whatever it is. And sometimes, as I said, sometimes the static will work in Reels. So maybe that's why you saw it. But if they're specifically running statics in Reels, if that's like their strategy, then I would maybe reconsider that.
I was looking at theirs. They're all static. They don't do any video ads.
Yeah, that makes sense. Then I would change something.
Yeah. Do video ads for you work better, or are static ads like kind of equal or better, or what's going on there?
Really depends on the business. So there
Okay.
are no like specific, we don't have any like specific opinions like videos are going to work better. In this case, it's like some brands we run like the ugliest ads ever. It's just like a title, like, hey, we're going to wash your house. Then it's like a picture of the actual owner of the business in like the corner. It looks like something we put together in Word, and it works like the absolute best. It has like a 3x lower CPL than all of the other types of ads, while other ones, they need like super processed UGC videos with like things popping up and a lot of like subtitles, and yeah, it's different. It has to be tested for each one.
That's almost like the MS Paint ad. Like, we're looking for a graphic designer. It's just someone writing out, we need a graphic designer in MS Paint.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes it's simple. It's just working.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, mate. I don't have a whole lot else for you. So where do you want to send people?
If any Norwegian businesses are watching this and need marketing, check out curve.no. We also have an English version of the website. So if you click like the small globe in the corner, I'm super proud of that I translated the entire website. So you can read a bit more about us in English as well. LinkedIn is, I guess, the go-to platform. Alex Andreessen. Just look me up and follow me. I'm probably going to begin posting a bit more in English from now on. It's been only Norwegian so far, but I think it's good to begin thinking about scaling to the US and other countries as well by posting in English. So yeah, that's it. Website and LinkedIn.
There you go.